Before the screams, before the prayers, before the desperate hands reaching for life, there was only the ocean. The Atlantic lay still, almost respectful, as if hiding its cruelty beneath calm water. The cold was not loud, it did not announce itself, it waited. Above that silence, the Titanic cut through the night like a moving city, lights glowing, music drifting into darkness. People believed silence meant safety. They did not understand that silence is often the final warning. The ship that dared nature, the Titanic, was not built to serve the ocean, it was built to conquer it. Engineers spoke of steel and certainty, newspapers spoke of greatness, even God could not sink this ship, some said, but nature does not argue, it waits. The Titanic carried the rich above, the poor below, and fate between them. Every hallway, every staircase, every locked gate mattered that night. And not everyone would be allowed to escape. Annie Robinson. Before the night, Annie Robinson had seen death before. Hospitals teach you that death is rarely dramatic, it arrives quietly, a breath that does not return, a heartbeat that fades without apology. Annie learned to stay. When others stepped back, she stepped forward. She believed that being present mattered, even when saving was impossible. That belief would define her final hours. Why Annie boarded Titanic? Annie did not board the Titanic chasing a dream, she boarded because work called her. Nurses followed need, not comfort. She packed lightly, a uniform, a small medical kit, a quiet hope that the journey would be ordinary. She never imagined that the ship would become a floating hospital, or a grave. The night feels wrong. On April 14th, laughter echoed through polished halls, music played confidently, unaware of time. But Annie noticed small things, the unusual cold, the way the ship vibrated differently at speed. Nurses are trained to listen to what others ignore. That night, the ship spoke softly, and Annie listened. The moment, when the iceberg struck, there was no explosion, just a long, terrible tearing sound, like metal screaming in pain. People looked at one another, confused. Annie did not wait for instructions, she felt it in her chest. This was not nothing, this was the beginning of the end. Denial kills time. Crew members reassured passengers, it's only a precaution. People returned to beds. Annie walked toward the lower decks. She saw water where water should not be, thin at first, then steady. Denial is dangerous, it steals minutes, and that night, minutes were life. The cold that no one escaped. The Atlantic Ocean that night was below freezing. The cold did not wait for the ship to sink, it entered slowly. Through metal, through air, through skin. Hypothermia was faster than drowning. Many passengers did not scream, their bodies simply surrendered. Annie understood this. That is why she stayed close, to keep the dying warm for just a few moments longer. The first injured. Panic causes mistakes. A man slipped on a tilted stair, bone cracked, blood soaked the carpet meant for luxury. Annie knelt without hesitation, her hands moved automatically, training replacing fear. She spoke calmly, even as her heart raced. Calm spreads faster than panic, if someone is brave enough to offer it. When panic becomes real, panic is contagious. One scream multiplies into hundreds. Annie ran toward every sound, she guided children through chaos, she supported the elderly, she became a human anchor in a ship losing balance. Around her, order collapsed. Inside her, purpose remained. Class divides below deck. Titanic was not just divided by steel, it was divided by class. Locked gates separated third-class families from safety. While lifeboats waited above, others were trapped below. Annie crossed these invisible lines. Pain does not belong to one class, and neither did her compassion. The water touches her body, the water reached her feet, then her ankles. The cold burned like fire, pain demanded attention. Annie refused. She tore strips from her uniform to bind wounds. She gave her warmth away. She knew the cost, she paid it anyway. Holding death, a man shivered violently, his lips turned blue. Annie held him as his breathing slowed. She cried, not loudly, but honestly. Nurses are not taught how to let go, they learn it alone. When he died, she closed his eyes, and whispered a goodbye meant for herself. The lifeboat moment, a lifeboat stood waiting. Someone grabbed Annie's arm. You can still live, they said. Annie looked behind her, injured bodies, trapped souls, fear without comfort. She stepped back. Survival is a choice, so is sacrifice. The ship rises, the Titanic tilted sharply, gravity betrayed everyone, people slid, screamed, prayed. Annie gathered those who could not stand, she stayed with them. When escape became impossible, presence became everything. Her final song, Annie sang softly, a hymn her mother once sang during sickness. Her voice trembled, but it carried calm into terror. In that moment, she was not a nurse, she was comfort itself. The sound of the ship dying, as the ship filled with water, it began to make sounds no one forgets, metal groaning, steam hissing, glass shattering. Titanic was not silent as it died, it screamed. Annie heard every sound, and still, she did not run. The moments before the end, in the final moments, time slowed, screams softened, movements became heavy. Annie held on to one last life. She did not look for escape, she looked for peace. The brake, steel snapped, the ship screamed louder than the people, water swallowed sound. Annie vanished into darkness, holding someone else. She did not die alone, and she made sure no one else did either. Morning after, morning revealed what the night hid. Bodies drifted silently, survivors whispered stories. Many mentioned a nurse, crying, holding the dead. Her name was unclear, her actions were not. Forgotten by records, newspapers listed the wealthy. Annie was missing, no grave carried her name. History does not record those who stay behind, but memory does. Why this story matters: not all heroes survive, some stay behind so others are not alone. Annie Robinson cried for the dead, so the living would be comforted, and now, she is no longer forgotten.